women's 200, Gordon. Shericka Jackson gets it done. 21.45. Number 2 all-time. Breaks the Jamaican record. Shelly Fraser-Price, second. Dina Asher-Smith, third. But Jackson stole the show. What'd you think?
It's incredible. We, yesterday or 2 days ago, was it? We were thinking that 21-6 in the prelim looked awfully easy, a little too easy. Yeah. And we were thinking it may be time that there's going to be the first ever 21-4 performance in world history, because we obviously have the 21-3 from FloJo, we have the 21-5 from Elaine Thompson-Herah, and now we got 21-4. Shericka Jackson, the new Jamaican national record holder, number 2 all time. And it all made sense. It was building to this, going all the way back to the Diamond Leagues. Remember when Shericka first beat Elaine Thompson-Herah at one of the Diamond Leagues? And we're like, whoa, what's going on here? You're beating Elaine Thompson-Herah. What's this going to translate to? Well, it's translating into her being the new great for women's 200-meter running. And now they have like a pair of greats. They got Shelly Ann in the 100, and they got Shericka in the 200. And then they also have Elaine Thompson-Herah, the defending Olympic champion. All 3 of these women now have this unique story of their dominance for women's sprinting.
Yeah, with Jackson, this is her journey. 2015, 400-meter bronze. 2016, 400-meter bronze. 2017, 5th in the 400. 2019, 400-meter bronze. Then switches events. Tokyo, runs the 100. What does she get? Bronze again. Even better this year. But in the 100, what does she get? Silver. And then after all that, she gets her gold medal moment. It makes sense that she'd be thriving in the 200, like it would come in the 200 because of her background in the 400 and then obviously her top end speed in the 100. She was even with Fraser-Price coming off the curve and then just ran away with this thing and didn't end up being that close. Credit to Fraser-Price for getting a silver medal. But this, Gordon, was just all about Shericka Jackson having her gold medal moment in an individual event finally.
I mean, we talk about, like in the Fred Curley, why would he go from the 400 to the 100? Well, that worked out. He now is a global champion. Same thing with Shericka on the women's side. We're like, you're getting medals in the 400. Stick to the 400. Eventually, you're going to break through. But now she's breaking through in, some will say, a more marquee event when you're getting into the shorter sprints. And she chose the biggest challenge of them all. She was deciding to, like, I'm going to try to be one of the greatest sprinters, but out of the best sprint nation in Jamaica, and then, go up against Elaine Thompson-Herah all the time, go up against Shelly Ann, and become victorious. 21:45 is no joke. Like, I mean, it's not funny at all.
No, I'm not laughing.
There's zero comedy in a 21:45. No comedy at all. It is serious.
It was serious business out there. I mean, this thing was she was the favorite, but the way Fraser-Price had been running in the rounds, you had to think she had a shot. And even before the meet, you could probably throw in some other athletes that had a claim to it. But this has been Shericka Jackson's season. You made reference before to that Diamond League race where she ran away from Thompson-Herah. A lot of people, ourselves included, probably looked at it as like, oh, what was the issue with Elaine Thompson-Herah? Should have been thinking what was right with Shericka Jackson.
Yeah, and I think whenever we see these great, I mean, is this a breakout performance?
No, it's not a breakout performance. It's like a career-defining performance. Okay. That's what this is. I mean, you moved to number 2 all the time. You were talking, hey, can she break the world record? I said no, but I think she's going to leapfrog Thompson-Herah's Jamaican record, which is exactly what she did. There's still a lot of distance left to go to get into the 21-3s. But if we just take it for what it is with this performance, it's a career-defining run for her.
So Shericka Jackson, born in 1994. She's 28.
Yeah.
29, 30, those are still good years. It's the back end of a strong sprint. I mean, Shelly Ann is obviously the outlier of doing what she does at age 35. But do you think this is her peak? Do you think she's going to either just continue at this mark or go down a bit? Or do you think there's any semblance of a potential 2023 lower that mark even faster?
It's tough because everybody looks at, all right, could fix this, could fix that another year. But then you also have to look at what went right tonight. You had good conditions. She had a really good lane draw. She's on an incredibly quick track. Not that she'll never be able to run at the Hayward Field track again. She could obviously come back to Prefontaine Classic. And she had a season that clearly was setting up perfectly for this. So I don't know if it's a peak, but instead of times, just look at, can she win it again? How many more 200s can she run off in terms of gold medals? Because the reason why it's interesting, we have the situation with the no off year now. So now you have 23, 24, and 25. You have 3 more years. I think some athletes might get broken down because of that, but others are going to thrive having these big meets to peak for 3 years in a row, and big moments like this produce fast times like that. Yes, can you run fast, in an outlier performance? Sure. In a smaller meet, a college meet, absolutely. But you look at the all-time top 10 list, most of the time it's coming in a major championship race. That's just the reality, because that's when everybody's peaking. So I mean, if you had to ask me, like, will she ever run fast? I would say this will end up being her career PB. But what do I know? I didn't think at the beginning of the year she'd run 21.4.
Yeah.
We thought this would be a really awesome, competitive, interesting year for the women's sprints, but I didn't think necessarily they'd go beyond what they did last year. And in the 200, they have.
I think she can do it. I think she
can and will are two different things. Can, obviously, she can run a couple hundreds faster. Absolutely. Will, if I had to choose, I would say no would be the favorite you're betting, which you've been betting a lot.
I've been betting a lot.
Do you want to talk about the rest of the field?
Yeah, sorry about the rest of the field. Again, Shelly-Ann having an incredible meet. I thought she was going to scratch this 200. She was not going to do that. She comes in here, runs a strong 21.8 and gets second. So gold and silver. Shelly-Ann, at her age, what she's doing, she's just continuing to cement her legacy as one of the greats. And then also Dina Asher-Smith, who, again, always look at that 100-meter dash. She got 4th in that 100 in a really good field. That was going to translate to show that she was fit and ready to go. And you look at some of the other notable potential, medalists, like Abby Steiner. She's coming off of like a long-ass season.
Mm-hmm.
Tamara Clark, she hasn't been as consistently throwing down sub-22. She's done it, but she hasn't had that pedigree of doing it year in and year out. Dina Asher-Smith has the experience, showed that she's fit, was able to put it together. So, I mean, there is a lot of bets out there that I was talking to people to, like, there's a lot of really good odds for Dina Asher-Smith to get third here, because I guess people are really underestimating her. Yeah. But again, if you look at that 100, this is exactly where you would expect her to finish.
Right, but sometimes hundreds can be misleading because you see scratches or issues as well too. I mean, look at the drop off of Thompson Hurrah from the 100 to the 2. But I've always thought Asher-Smith's just that's what she won the world title. I've always kind of thought of her more as a 200 runner, even though she's obviously very good in the 100 as well too. But beating Saney, who's been running really well, Steiner, who's had an amazing season. This was race 55 for her. She said she knew 55. The number off the top of her head. I said, excuse me, 55? And she said, yeah, 55. Clark obviously ran really well in the rounds as well too. This is a great performance for Dina Asher-Smith. Like, this field was a lot tougher than the field that she went against in Doha, right? Like, obviously, because all the times are faster, but like, look at the rankings of the people that made it through. This felt like, this is an Olympic final. Like, Fraser West was really going for it. It's like she wanted that double, and obviously Shericka Jackson is on fire right now. So to only finish behind those two for Asher-Smith is just incredible. So well-deserved podium, really strong podium, top to bottom.